Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mama Bear. I'm Bree.
And I'm Erin.
And today we have a very exciting episode for you. We have our good friend and kind of colleague, Alexx Whitelaw, on to talk about lactation counseling.
I'm here to stay with wisdom and warmth. Let's light the way. Together we'll laugh. Together we'll share.
So welcome to the podcast, Alex.
Yeah, so happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Specifically, lactation counseling hits home for me, being a new mom to my son Everest. I've been breastfeeding for 8 months, so I have a lot of questions to throw your way. And Erin and Alex also own/run a lactation counseling business. So I'm sure that they'll kind of supplement each other's answers and kind of get us, all that great information for if you're expecting and have never breastfed before or are currently in the middle of breastfeeding and have some questions.
Yeah, so Alex and I went to school for lactation counseling together. I guess we took an online course together, and we've been to some programs on certain parts of lactation counseling, like tongue ties and stuff like that. But Alex is also an RN and works in oncology. So she has so much knowledge on so many different things.
Also, mom of 3.
And she's a mom of 3. Yes, she's a mom of 3
so some personal
boys
experience.
Of her own.
Boys.
Yeah, and she is a huge, not only is she a breastfeeding counselor, she is a huge breastfeeding advocate and has breastfed her own boys for a very long time and knows all of the benefits of that. So she's going to share that with us today. So I'm so excited.
Yes, let's throw you the ball right off the hop here. Can you give us a quick rundown of, we kind of did it for you, but you're a mom. What are the ages of your children? Give us some background of your education, things like that.
Yeah, so I'm a mom of 3 boys. My oldest is 12. My youngest will be 3 soon. I did breastfeed them for a long time. I breastfed my first until he was 5, and
I did not know that.
Tandem breastfed with my second till he was 3, because they were 2 years apart. And then I actually just recently stopped breastfeeding my youngest. He kind of weaned himself after he was sick back in March. So it's weird not breastfeeding now, but
It's kind of emotional.
it is.
Not breastfeeding anymore, or like not knowing that last breastfeed might be your last breastfeed.
Yeah.
I mean, some people can plan it, and some people it kind of just happens.
100%.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, with my youngest, it just kind of happened after I had taken a trip, and it was heartbreaking. Honestly,
I think
It
about
was.
this all the time.
It was heartbreaking. I still like feel like
Get
I'm gonna
emotional
cry
about
when I think about it, because I
100%.
planned to go longer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And like hearing you say that now I was just talking to my husband about this, how I haven't had to go through it yet.
Yeah.
So you're just reestablishing my fears.
Yeah.
'Cause I was just saying this, I'm currently breastfeeding and I just think the day I have to stop will be very
Yes.
emotional. So you're kind of justifying my biggest
Yeah.
fear.
Sorry.
Well, it's bittersweet because it's nice to kind of have your body back to yourself, because you don't have that for so long. Like, you're pregnant for 9 months and then immediately you're breastfeeding right after you give birth. And once you wean, or they self-wean themselves,
You have that autonomy back.
yeah, like your body's kind of your own again, and it's kind of a nice feeling, but it is bittersweet.
I
at the
always
same
think
time
of that
because
reel.
It's sad to lose that relationship.
Have you guys seen that reel where they have like that woman dancing, and it's like, this is like, look out everybody, this is my first summer where I'm not pregnant and not
Yeah.
breastfeeding. Like, wait, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, it is, you're right. It is a bittersweet feeling where, yeah, it's nice to have your body back to being your
Yeah.
own body. And at the same time, yes, you've lost a little bit of that connection. I almost felt like, what if, this is silly, this is crazy, don't come for me, I know it's crazy. I'm like, what if she doesn't love me as much anymore
Yes.
because we've lost that connection?
I think that
Do you know?
too.
But
Totally.
that's not true. That doesn't happen.
exist.
My kids still are obsessed with me, so.
Oh boy. I only sigh so big because this is actually like a fear of mine. I'm sure you're telling me it won't happen, but I'm not there yet, so we'll see.
Anyway, so you're a mom of 3 boys. You know, you've gone through a lot. You have a preteen and a toddler, so
Yep.
you're a busy woman, as well as you work full time as an RN.
Yeah.
So you're very busy.
Very busy.
What about your education as far as lactation counseling and nursing and everything goes? What have you done?
Well, I'm an RN, and then I actually did some like maternity prenatal education shortly after I graduated, because that is the direction that I was planning on going. And then I ended up in oncology. So I just completed my chemo training for that. So I'm chemo trained. And then, yeah, we did our lactation course together. I did a couple other like breastfeeding courses in between there somewhere. It's just like been a passion of mine for a long time. Like maternal, newborn, breastfeeding.
So let's talk about the difference between lactation counseling and lactation consultant, just to get that off the hop, just to like kind of get that out of the way. So lactation counseling, essentially you've taken the lactation counseling course and you are able to go to people's homes and help them with breastfeeding and all of the issues that come along with that. In order to be called a lactation consultant, you have to do so many hours of actually helping people with breastfeeding. And then you have to write an exam. So it's essentially like becoming a nurse, where you have to write an exam to become certified to be a lactation consultant. However, you're not able to write that exam until you have so many hours of education and so many hours of actual practicing.
Gotcha.
Yes. So right now we are in the counseling stage where we're essentially able to do pretty much what a consultant can do, just with a little bit of limitations until we can write our exam.
What would those limitations be?
You can't be like hands-on with your like assessments and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's more, you can't, how do I want to put this? I guess like a lot of things when it comes to like actually diagnosing things, it can be, I think this is what you have, but you have to go to see a doctor to actually get diagnosed. Do you know, does that make sense?
Yep.
Like you can be like very sure that someone has mastitis.
Sure.
But you can't be like, you have mastitis. You have to, you know, say, I think this is along the lines of maybe you have this diagnosis, but you need to go get diagnosed by a doctor.
Okay, so then I guess segueing off of the definition of the actual role you play, what goes into, so new mom scenario, new mom or a pregnant mother about to have a baby. She doesn't know what life is going to look like. It's very hard for her to picture. Can you give a breakdown, pros and cons, formula, breastfeeding?
Okay.
You can go lifestyle, you can go nutrition, like just high level.
No
what
judgment,
would you say?
just if you were going to give someone a list, this is the benefits and this is the cons.
We'll start with the benefits of breastfeeding. Like you literally have like a food that's tailored perfectly to your baby. It's also going to provide them a lot of immunity in their first few months. Like they don't have any vaccines yet. They are very new, just building that immune system. Any like illnesses and stuff that they come into contact with, your breast milk is going to help provide them that protection that they need. It's free.
Yes. Big one.
That was a big seller for me.
Absolutely.
You don't have to pay for it. Formula is very expensive.
Life these days it's unaffordable. So free food is...
Take what you can get. I was also a young mom when I had my first two, so that was a big thing for me. I did not want to be spending my money on formula.
Right.
And it's always ready for them. Like you're not making bottles at 3 a.m. You just pop them on and you're good to go.
It's so easy.
And those are just like the three that off the top of her head. Like we have textbooks of just benefits on benefits of breastfeeding. Yeah. And not only for the baby, for the mother.
Right.
Yeah. Like for this one is like crazy to me, which is something I didn't know until I took the course. Breastfeeding literally decreases your chance of getting breast cancer.
Wow.
Which is just, it's crazy. Just breastfeeding your baby decreases your chance of getting breast cancer.
Wow. The more you know. I did not know that.
Yeah, and like we've looked into the whys of this and essentially what they say is something to do with the hormones that breastfeeding produces decreases the hormones that would help produce a breast cancer. Wow. But that was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Okay, so then does that apply? Do these because some people will consider I'm breastfeeding if I'm pumping and feeding my baby breast milk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences in that. Can you speak to why that might be different from breastfeeding?
Well, if you're pumping, so I can't explain the process, but when I was talking about like the immunity benefits, a lot of that is communication, I guess, from like the saliva from your baby, like through your nipples to produce those immunity benefits. So essentially, if you're exclusively pumping, you're not getting those signals from the baby to produce those antibodies. So they're still going to get tons of benefits from the breast milk, but it's not going to be the same if you're exclusively pumping.
Which is so, I don't know. I'm just in awe of breastfeeding.
It's
I
really
honestly
magic.
am. Like the fact that a baby's saliva, like then communicating, like you had said, with the nipple to
It's so
create
beautiful.
antibodies for this baby to fight these illnesses or to build this like it's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like I think it's so amazing.
It's
I
so
really
amazing.
do.
It's
I really do. Like it's just crazy what our bodies can do.
Yeah.
And it's just natural. This is just what our
It's
bodies are made to do.
So cool. I think like just speaking on what you had said about like how like just pros and cons, it is easy. Like people choose to formula feed, which is fine. They think it's saving time. Like they think by formula feeding, they're saving some sort of difficult process. But the difference being if my baby needs to be fed, I can feed them in response immediately. I don't have to heat something up. I don't have to store anything. I don't have to pump. I don't have to clean things. I don't have to wash bottles.
I did not want to wash bottles.
I wanted to breastfeed. And I remember saying to my midwife at the time, she said, "Are you committed to breastfeeding?" And I felt like that was a big commitment to make, not knowing. And I hear so many people be like, "Oh, if I can," you know, and she looked at me and said, "You can. Like you can. The chances you can't, or the chances there's some sort of anomaly in you is very, very, very slim." Yeah. And in today in society, it's more widespread that the thought, "Oh, what if I can't? What if I can't?" That's in my knowledge and my understanding, very rare.
Yeah.
And I think that's a misconception that people don't understand. So she said, "You can. You're very, very likely you can. But will you like stick to it? Is that what you're committed to?" And she had said, "I got bottles on my registry." And she was like, "Why did you ask for a bunch of bottles?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like, you don't know. I'm committed to breastfeeding, but you can't picture. You have a baby, you need bottles.
You need bottles.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally get
haven't
that.
used them."
And honestly, back to the cons, because we haven't got to the cons yet, which, I mean, neither here nor there, but like people choose to. I have come across so many people recently that have chosen to formula feed, and I didn't realize that was something that was so widespread now that people were choosing. And it's no judgment. If you choose to formula feed, you choose to formula feed. I impose no judgment on you. You do what is best for you and your family. I just didn't I've just come across so many people recently that have chosen to formula feed. And I do understand. I don't know what their reasonings are. I never grill them on it or anything.
Yeah.
I just say, okay, that's your choice and move on. But I do understand that some people, it is for the autonomy that we were talking about earlier, right? Like that they want the husband to be able to do all the night feedings.
I
and
get
they
that.
don't want
I
to
get
pump
that.
and they just want
Yeah.
they want their body back. They've had this
Yeah.
baby in them for 9 months and now they want their body back.
But-
Is there any other
Yeah.
Well, even when you're asking me for the pros and cons, I think it is going to be very dependent on like the person and like the family and the baby as well. Like, I was willing to put up with cluster feeding and, you know, breastfeeding my baby what felt like all day and all night. If that's what they needed, because I was determined to breastfeed.
Me too.
I wasn't willing to put up with the cons of formula feeding, which was going to be getting up and making bottles and cleaning bottles.
Yes.
And as you say, cluster feeding in the middle of the night or during the day, we have the privilege of being off for a year to 18 months here in Canada, whereas in America or other places, they get 6 weeks, man.
Yeah.
They get
or
6
less.
or less,
Yeah.
depending on your job, right? Like so to them, it's kind of like maybe they feel they aren't given that choice.
Yeah.
They have to formula feed, I guess. I don't know.
I guess for me, it was kind of similar to what you were saying, like that commitment. Like I was determined, it didn't matter to me. Like I love breastfeeding. I never had too much pain associated with it. I didn't struggle. But it is true that it is a massive commitment. There are times where like I love to work out. I couldn't go to the gym because my baby in those earlier times couldn't go too long without a feeding. So there is a huge sacrifice on the mother's part as well.
Yeah.
And you can't share that duty with dad.
Yeah.
You know, so that is tricky. That weighs on a mom big time.
And I think a lot of people, they always say like, oh, well, what if grandma wants to feed the baby? Or what if dad wants to feed the baby? And not everybody is able to pump and just give a bottle of breast milk. So I think a lot of that will also lead to it.
Right.
For me, it was more important that I am able to breastfeed.
Yes.
So I said you can do other things to bond with baby.
100%.
I'm going to be feeding baby. That's
I actually got a lot of that pressure early on, and not in the sense that people were like, "Why are you breastfeeding?" but more like people would be like, almost every time I'd see certain people, they'd be like, "Well, how much longer are you going to be doing this?" Even to this day, at 8 months, like, "Well, how much longer are you going to be doing this?"
Really?
And they're more just like, "Why do you want to when you could offer a bottle? Like, why would you make this more difficult on yourself?"
See, for me, I went to a year with both my girls. I went to a year with Emerson because I was going back to work, and it just felt. It was my first baby. If I could do this over, I would have. It felt difficult to me. I was a nurse. I was working shift work. And in personal opinion, I hated pumping. I really did. So I didn't want to take that on. Now I wish that I had kept breastfeeding her longer and just done maybe morning and night feeds or what I could to keep up with that breastfeeding, but I didn't, which is fine. I was ready to give it up at a year. With Nora, I wanted to go much longer. I wanted to go to at least 2 years. I went on a trip. She was being bottle fed with breast milk that I had pumped. When I got back, it was like she didn't know who I was.
Aww,
it was terrible. And I tried breastfeeding her for maybe a month after, and she wouldn't. She just would not latch back on. I tried a bunch of tricks. I hadn't yet taken my lactation counseling course, which may have helped me because I would have learned a bunch of things, but I hadn't done that yet. And so I didn't know what to do. I felt very lost, but I wish I had gone longer. And I don't know. I don't think that anyone kind of asked me how long I was going to go or anything like that. But I didn't realize that you had felt that pressure.
Yeah. I guess it's just more people in my life that aren't, I guess men mostly, are kind of like, oh,
they're
why would you?
inquisitive.
Yeah. Why are you still doing this? Why it seems like it's limiting your life. You could be doing other things or whatever. So, I guess, sorry.
I was just, because you said you breastfed Jackson till 5. Did you
got
feel a lot of that pressure?
Yeah. As soon as it hit 1 year, because I think everybody that I knew kind of like they expected that, you breastfeed for the first year and then you stop. As soon as I hit that year, I got the question all the time. So when are you going to stop? When are you going to be done with this? And after I hit, like, a year was my first goal. And then I was going to go till 2 because I think that's like the worldwide recommendation is to breastfeed until 2.
I did not know that.
They say at least 6 months, and then if you can go till 2.
Yeah. That was one of my questions. Okay, good. 2. Wow.
And then eventually I was like, you know what? However long they want to, I'll just let them.
That's my answer. Yeah. That's always my answer.
Yeah. As long as you are able to and he wants to.
We literally talked in the car the other day with my husband, and he's like, well, like, how long? He goes, so is he going to be 3, 4 running up to you breastfeeding? And I'm like, I can't imagine that long, but if he wants to, I'm not going to force. I'm not
where you are.
I'm not taking him off, especially if I have other kids and I'm breastfeeding. What's the issue with giving him a little share?
Yeah.
Giving him a little share. Tandem feeding.
Jackson, I think, was actually starting to kind of lose interest, especially while I was pregnant with Carter, because my supply kind of dipped. Like, I think it was completely gone at one point while I was pregnant. So he wasn't even asking for it very much. And then it came back full force after I had Carter, and I couldn't tell him no. I'm not going to be breastfeeding his new brother and then tell him, like, oh, no, you can't have any. This is for the baby.
And how old was Jackson at that point?
He would have been
2?
2.
So what does feeding a 2-year-old look like? Like, he's not doing it out of hunger. He's more doing it nighttime feeds. Like, what?
How often were you feeding him at that point?
Well, it was a lot. After Carter was born,
'cause he
anytime
wants that
he
good
saw
colostrum.
Carter breastfeeding, he was like, oh, well, I want to as well.
Yeah,
And I
that's
didn't want any like negative feelings between him and his brother.
resentment.
So
Right.
I was like, I am not turning him away.
Right.
It was a lot. I was very overstimulated.
I was going to say, can we talk about like the breastfeeding? I guess one of the cons of breastfeeding that we didn't mention, being touched out.
very touched out.
As when you're tandem feeding
was
two
gonna
kids,
say, not
like
there
how
yet.
touched out did you feel when they're babies? I guess not, but even
Yeah.
as they got to around that 1 year point, I like started to feel overstimulated sometimes. I did.
Yeah, we've
I
talked
got
about
that.
this in different ways a few times, this touched out thing. I'm
Yes.
very aware it exists, but I've not
But
experienced
I
it.
didn't tandem feed, so I can only imagine that you
Yeah.
were at some points feeling overstimulated, touched out.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Because I felt like at any given moment, I had a child on me,
Attached
if
to
not
you.
two. And
Like
when
you would literally be feeding
both at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Superhero.
It was a lot. Yeah, so it got very overstimulating. I was feeling very touched out. It kind of like leveled out though, like once Carter had kind of established more of his routine when he was a little bit bigger. And Jackson wasn't feeling quite so threatened by this other little being taking over his mom. He wasn't breastfeeding as much. It definitely was more of like when he first woke up and then to go to sleep kind of
Like a comfort.
thing before that. And then it went back to that
Yeah.
eventually. Also when I picked him up, anytime I picked him up, like whether it was from daycare or school, cause he was in school. He wanted to, like when we got home, I think that was his way of just
Like
like
unwinding.
Reconnecting with
unwinding
you.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day. He missed
I do.
me.
I remember him just like he'd come up and he'd just like lift up your shirt and he's like, "Here I am.
Yeah.
I'm latching on." Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he knew what he wanted.
But and I'm sure you got a lot of. I mean, I commend you for sticking with it because I'm sure you got a lot of pressure from people to stop.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like I don't understand. To me, I'm like, how is this affecting you?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need me
Live
to
your
stop?
life.
Why do you need me to stop breastfeeding my child?
Yeah.
It's not going to go on forever. Like,
right.
yeah.
At what point are you like 3 is okay, but 4 that's crazy?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what does it matter to anybody else?
Right. So
Well, I think most people thought it was ridiculous to even go past 1.
right.
Well,
But
yeah.
I got a lot of, if they can ask for it, then they're too old. And I'm like, they
Says
could
who?
ask for it
Always.
like
They're crying
like
for
a
it.
baby.
Yeah.
Like like Hudson started talking very early.
Yeah.
So he it was fine for Jackson because he couldn't ask for it because he
Right.
was a late talker and
Right,
not
right.
for my like.
And I do
that's
hope
just a silly.
and think that maybe times are changing a bit where breastfeeding is becoming a
seems
more
like
open
it.
discussion and
Yeah.
hopefully less judged, where mothers are going to be able to make this decision for themselves without the fear of people weighing in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a step back now. Let's paint a picture. Like I said, we've got this pregnant mom listening to this podcast. She doesn't know what to expect with this breastfeeding. Can we walk through like what maybe the hours post birth might look like in terms of latching? What are those first couple days looking like? Maybe reference things like pain, what makes a good latch, things like that.
Well, first I would start out with skin to scan right after birth, and whether some people like to let baby figure out how like latching on by themselves, they can actually find their way to the breast and latch on, or you help them and you latch them on right away. It will very much help you with your breastfeeding journey, having that like early latch. I think it just depends on the baby. I think one of my sons only nursed for maybe like 30 minutes the first time I latched him on. And then he was good. And then I can't remember which one it was, but he was latched on for like a solid hour and a bit. They're
Wow.
like, can I take him now? I was like, no.
Nope.
He's still on there. Thank you so much.
I'm good.
Yeah, we've waited 9
They
months
do
for this.
say though, like sometimes you can put them right on your belly when they literally
Yeah.
as they come out, and they within that first hour will find their way
yeah.
up
Yeah.
and root to the nipple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which I believe I did do with Nora.
So I've spoke to someone else who just I did a home birth, and my someone else I know just had a home birth, and we were both talking about it, that I thought it would be sooner. I thought it would be like, you hear this rooting, the baby rooting around looking for it. They laid Everest on my chest, and I'm like, it was 2 hours before he fed.
Before he figured out.
Well, no, he didn't.
Oh, so you just eventually latched him.
Yeah, and I kept saying to the birth team, can I feed him? And I don't know if they necessarily said no, but they definitely were like, just give him a minute. And they were working on me and whatever, and everyone was busy in the room. But I just kept feeling like I want to feed him. I want to sit up and feed him. But he was crying and he was laying on my chest, and 2 hours go by and they're like, okay, now let's sit down and feed him. And I just remember being like, maybe next time I'll probably just feed him right away. I don't know, but
whatever you feel is
yeah.
right.
But then someone else I know had just said that too, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours post birth before they fed. I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I latched my boys on right away.
Yeah, just take them and feed them.
I was like, let's just.
And then, what are you looking for in that good latch?
You definitely want to make sure they have a nice wide latch. You want the latch to be deep, because if you have a shallow latch, it'll for sure be painful. You also kind of want their lips flared out a bit, because sometimes they'll suck in their top or their bottom lip, and then they will not get that nice deep latch that you want.
Why is it painful if it's shallow? Because they're getting their gums more on you, or
yeah, and it won't actually be it'd actually be nice to show a visual.
I know. so you want your lips like this.
You want the baby latched onto the areola, not just the nipple.
So a full.
That's what she means by deep latch. If you have just the nipple, that's a very sensitive part of your body.
Right.
And if the baby's rubbing on your nipple constantly, it's going to scab, it's going to bleed. If they're sucking on the areola, those things aren't going to happen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the actual mechanism, when they're using their tongue to get the milk flowing, it won't work properly unless they have that nice deep latch.
Right. Okay.
I actually remember with Emerson, I did scab a little bit. And when I would first latch her on, I remember counting down in my head going 10, 9, 8 to 1, because if I counted down from 10 to 1, it would stop hurting. My midwife came and I told her this, and she goes, honey, it is not supposed to hurt like that. You're just counting down in your head. She's like, it's not supposed to feel that way. And I was like, oh, it's not supposed to hurt. I was just, once I got past 10, I was fine. And she's like, no.
Oh, no.
And she had taught me to, like Alexx had said, you want flared lips. So Emmy was sucking her bottom, getting her bottom lip. So she taught me to just give a gentle pull on the chin. I did. Give a gentle pull on the chin, and it pops their lip out. And then my latch got better.
Yeah.
Mine did not.
Oh,
because
no.
my boys had lip and tongue ties.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Jackson, like I said, I was determined to breastfeed from the beginning. With Jackson, I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And it was very painful. And I was told that it was going to be painful for the first little bit. And I made it to about 3 months where I was like, okay, is this still normal? It is not, by the way. It should not hurt. It shouldn't hurt like it did for me at all. It is a little bit painful to begin with, but that should go very quickly, especially if you have a proper latch. I was misinformed, and I sought out so much help, and every single time someone assessed his latch, they said it looked perfect, to just keep going, essentially. And then Carter, it was fine. I didn't have any pain with him. And then Hudson came along, and I felt the exact same way I did with Jackson. And I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I know well enough
You're
this
more
time,
educated now, yeah.
that this is not how it's supposed to be. And I went and had him assessed. It was actually by my dentist. She said that was not her area of expertise, but she would take a look. She looked at my boys as well, and she said, honestly, I would say that they all have a tongue tie. So I went and took Hudson to a specialist to be assessed by them to see if it should be revised. And she said he had a severe lip and tongue tie. And she revised it instantly. I felt the relief.
Wow.
Instantly. Night and day difference.
Should they not be checking for this on delivery? Do they not?
So it is I believe a part of the
They do probably
exam, but like I think it's very
easy to
not,
miss it.
Yes, and I don't think it's done by like someone that is a professional in this area.
Right, just one of their
It's just
parts,
like
yeah.
looking for an obvious lip and tongue.
Yeah.
Don't see it.
Move
I
on.
know that when I had a midwife, she did look for a lip and tongue on
Yeah.
Emmy, didn't see anything, and we
She
moved
did
on.
have one?
Now, what advice do you have if you could go back and tell your younger self? What advice would you give someone that's in this situation that's being told, no, you don't have one, but they know something's wrong?
So I feel like I did, honestly, a lot, especially at 20 years old. Like, I think I was advocating for myself. And I went to multiple different people. Like, I spoke with a midwife. I spoke with, I went to the breastfeeding clinics that were offered by the city at the time.
Right.
And multiple different ones. And they all told me the same thing. So I don't really know what I could have done differently, but I guess I wish I had, I don't know, just persevered, I guess, until I
Yeah.
found someone who was willing to actually take me seriously.
And this is something that you can go to a lactation consultant for.
yes.
Is a lip and tongue tie. That is something I believe they can diagnose.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things that we cannot diagnose. We can say we see one, but you need to go to a consultant for it to be
Gotcha.
diagnosed.
You can also self-refer to places that will revise them, and they will assess for you and then tell you whether revision is necessary.
Wow.
And it's a very quick procedure. They use a laser. They do cry, which is not an easy thing, especially for listening to your tiny baby cry. But I was able to latch Hudson on right away, right afterwards, and he instantly
So they're
stopped.
not put out for this. Like, how are
No.
they? Where's
they give
the baby?
Tylenol.
And where do they? Are they in your arms?
No, they take them back because they're using a laser, so they have to only the person doing the procedure and their assistant, I guess, goes
gosh.
back there. But it's very quick.
Yeah.
Like they took him back there,
And they're just
they
like
fixed-
snipping that piece of, I was going to say
Tissue,
fabric,
essentially.
tissue.
Yeah.
And they're just like cutting it, or are they like removing? Yeah.
They basically just
It's like
cut it.
cauterizing, yeah?
Yeah.
Like cauterizing it.
They used to cut it.
And are they in
then
pain
would,
for many
stitch it.
days or hours? Or?
I had to give Tylenol for, I think it was about a week.
Wait, did you just say they used to stitch it?
They used to.
Because
Yeah,
they
they used to
used to
actually
snip.
cut it.
And now with cautery,
You
I
can
believe
burn
this is
it
how it's done.
away.
I'm not a professional. Is it cautery?
Well, they
Yeah.
they laser it.
And then it does it even bleed?
a
little bit?
a little
A little
bit. And then you have to do exercises and massages to make sure that it doesn't reattach
Oh, wow.
or anything, because it
Jeez.
can reattach. But it was just the
Instant
instant
relief.
relief. I was like,
Yeah.
this is how it could have been with Jackson.
whole time, yeah.
I could have fixed it
Wow,
that
that's incredibly
easily and
frustrating.
not. And it hurt. And I breastfed him until he was 5, and it hurt the entire time.
Oh.
Every single
Crazy.
time I breastfed him.
Moms are literally superheroes.
And you just keep going. You just keep
kept
going.
going.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay, so then you're having breast pain. What did you do to help? Like, were you putting lotion, gel,
Linoleum.
ice packs?
Yeah, I had a nipple cream that I would put on. Honestly, the best thing that I found for nipple pain, especially if you have cracked nipples or anything like that, is to put breast milk on it and let it air dry.
All right.
oh my gosh, breast milk is
Instant.
magic. Literally.
Instant relief.
I remember
It
my
feels
kids.
so good.
I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast, where my kids would have cuts or something, and I would literally put breast milk on their cut,
Yeah.
and next day, gone.
So, okay. Yeah, interesting.
But also you can use I believe the beef tallow. There's a one made for breasts, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. And then like you
There's,
said,
the
breast milk. There's the
lanolin.
lanolin. Yep. There's creams made for.
Huh. Interesting.
I've actually looked up online. Alex and I both have you can make your own. It is quite time consuming, but it's a natural
Like breast milk
Pro-
cream?
product. It's not made of breast milk. There's what is the main ingredient in it? I forget what it said that it was, because we looked up making them at one point.
Yeah, because you would obviously want to make sure it's safe for,
Safe for
baby to
eat,
ingest.
yes.
Since you'll be putting it
Yeah,
on your nipples.
I forget what it
but-
was. There was some essential oils in it. I don't remember. I'd have to
can't
look it up
remember
again, but you
either.
can they're all over Pinterest.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so then I guess back to this new mom. She had her baby, skin to skin. She's learned how to latch. How often is she feeding within that first kind of newborn phase of life? What can we give her in terms of
What can she
expectations?
expect?
Yeah. I can't even remember what the like, because there's every like few hours you're supposed to be waking them to feed them to ensure that they're getting enough. I just breastfed on demand.
Right. I did the same.
Yeah, that's what I did as well.
It's hard to even like recall back how frequently that was, and it definitely changed.
Yeah.
Like as babies' need changed.
Totally. And it will continue to change.
Yeah.
And I know some people really, really back to the scheduling like that. Like, yep, I know that I'm going to feed at 9 and then again at whatever. And then they have their schedule and that they really work to keep their baby from feeding until that time.
For me, that stressed me out because I also breastfed on demand, and I found if my baby was hungry before that, like the hour mark, like, so say, I know a lot of people do every 2 hours. So that's, I think, a typical, people are like, okay, feed every 2 hours. If my baby got hungry at an hour, I'm like, oh God, it's only been an hour. So I was like, I also just did on demand.
And to me, like, so we got very lucky with Everest being a good sleeper. And I always say that's a big piece of it. Like, he was never hungry when he went to bed because he got more than enough calories through the day. Because that'll be a big part as to why they're waking up.
Okay, so going with this, knowing that they're getting enough breast milk, knowing that they're getting enough food. So if you decide to feed on demand and you're not doing that every hour, and even if you are doing that every 2 hours, I mean, you don't know what your supply is and how much they're getting. How do you know your baby's getting enough to eat?
Wet diapers is a good ongoing indicator. So if they're having enough wet diapers throughout the day, which will also change depending on their age, that was the best indicator for me that I knew that they were getting enough, and then gaining enough weight. So, which the only reason I don't say that one first is because you only know, like, well, I actually got a scale because I did not think that my baby was getting enough. But if you don't have a scale, and sometimes it's hard to do like you step on the scale. You're not going to get the most accurate weight. So you'll only know when you have appointments that they weigh your baby at. But I've found, like, as long as they're getting enough weight, and like if you want something more frequent, checking that they have enough wet diapers throughout the day, then you'll know that they're getting enough milk.
Yeah, and this is something I really try to like express that I never stressed about, and I just trusted my body. Like, and I know some people get anxious about things like this, and that's not really good advice. But like, again, if you have no anomaly, your baby and you have this strong communication, as you said, you're made to do this. Your body's producing milk for them, and your milk supply will change based on how much they're taking. So really,
well, that's exactly it.
Your baby should be getting enough.
Milk supply is supply and demand. Now, it is dependent, like, you know, as you say, your body is made to do this. However, some people are on certain medications, or some people are on this and that can dry up your supply. Okay,
so but outside of like anything like that, no medications, and really...
And I just wanted to add in too, sometimes with lip and tongue ties, it can cause low weight gain. So I think, like, because I was really anxious about it with Jackson, but Jackson was gaining weight. So people that I went to seek help from, they're like, well, he's gaining weight fine. So there's no issue. Carter never had any issues with gaining weight, so I didn't stress about it as much with him. And then the anxiety came back with Hudson. Again, he also had no issues with weight gain. I naturally oversupply.
And your babies are just born with cheeks this big, so.
Okay, but when he was sick, he never lost his cheeks. Hudson was sick a couple months ago, and he never lost his chubby cheeks, but he did lose weight. He gained it all back. But yeah, like, if there are no complications with breastfeeding, then essentially you should be able to just trust your body.
Right.
And it should provide your baby with what they need. Like I said, like, your baby is essentially communicating with your body to produce exactly what they need. If they need more fat in their diet, your breast milk will produce more fat. Like, it is perfectly tailored to your baby and their needs, provided that there's no outside complications from that.
And so, speaking of outside complications, you had mentioned the medications piece. Tying on to that, like, what you are ingesting will affect your milk supply. Do you have anything you can suggest in terms of snacks or nutrition or like hydration? What should new mom be thinking about?
I would say hydration is probably the biggest component. I highly recommend having like a nice
massive Stanley
big water bottle. Actually, you know what? I prefer my Owala now.
You're what?
I have one of those Owala water bottles.
Wait,
What?
stop.
You can get
What
those.
is
Go on.
that?
Tell me more.
Is this a recommendation?
They come in 2 packs at Costco.
What is an
Owala?
Owala? Is it just like a water bottle?
It's a water bottle.
Is this like a competitor for
Are we
Stanley now?
out of the
Oh no, we're out of the loop.
out of the loop?
I'm sorry.
do this
It was
to
a
us
birthday
on
gift.
camera.
And I'm not sponsored.
We're officially uncool.
Not sponsored by Owala.
However,
yet.
would love to be.
Okay, I love my Stanley.
Okay.
But that thing leaks
Does it?
so bad.
So tell
Mine
me
is
about an
great.
Owala. Is it a straw
So-
one like Stanley or?
Oh,
okay,
she's gonna
okay.
Listen, okay, it locks. So it has the lid that closes over and it locks shut so it does not leak.
Okay.
When you open it up, you can sip out of it because there's a straw in it, and you can also tip it back if you prefer to not sip your water.
Okay, so I guess I'm getting an Owala.
Not sold yet.
it is a new
I
obsession.
love a good straw.
I can keep it in bed with me, and I don't have to worry about. I always had to keep the Stanley up, like above my bed. Hudson is obsessed with my Stanley, so I was always terrified of that thing coming down, hitting me on the head, and then spilling all over my bed.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that because I can keep it right
So a
beside me.
co-sleeping
Water bottle.
magic.
So-
Which is so beneficial if you're breastfeeding
Yes.
because you can keep it with you wherever you go. You don't have to worry about it tipping over and spilling. You can sip out of it, so you're not having
Oh my
to like
God.
toss
Yeah,
it back.
double
So can you
dose.
guys tell me this? When you guys are breastfeeding, do you get instantly thirsty the second your baby latches?
Okay, I just met a new mom 2 days ago, and I asked her this question: does that insatiable
Instant.
thirst?
Instant.
So I don't get it anymore now that Everest is older.
Yeah.
But those early days, like the first couple months for sure, it was like I would chug literally a full Stanley.
The second my baby would touch my nipple,
Give me the food, give me the
I
drink.
never had a water, and I'd be like, Walter,
literally.
I'm parched.
Instantly,
Yeah.
like
Those
as if
early
you've been
days?
like walking through the desert.
Yes.
Like you've never drank
Instant.
water.
Yes.
And like the early days too, I needed 2 hands, right? Like it's my
Yeah.
first time
Yes.
breastfeeding. You're still figuring it out. So I've got 2 hands. I can't hold my water bottle. So Aaron is literally standing there next to the bed with the water bottle, and I'm just chugging it back like I've never seen water in my life.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
instantaneous. It's a crazy.
But that
it
and
is
snacks.
crazy.
Like I also
so
needed, like I always
So
kept
snacks.
like
What kind of snacks do you
nuts or
recommend?
bars or
Full
bananas.
fat, right?
Yeah, like anything. Honestly, anything just easy that you can
Right.
keep with you.
Yeah. We're thinking high fats, lots of
Like
protein.
avocados, nuts, yeah.
And if you can just have like even just like little like packaged snacks like
Yeah.
close by that are easy to
Yeah.
grab, like we're saying, that hits you,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're stuck. 'cause
Yeah.
got
And you
your
do
baby
usually have
latch
one
finally.
hand
Totally.
to use, yeah.
Something close by that you can just
Just
have
nibble
on hand. There aren't like too many specific foods that I would say, oh yeah, like definitely have this like on hand. I like there's nothing specific really that will like boost your supply. I would just say making sure that you have like a full like balanced diet and maybe one extra snack. Similar to probably how you would have ate like through your pregnancy, I guess. You don't need like a ton of extra calories, but making sure that you are eating enough and staying hydrated would be.
Can we, this was not originally one of my questions, but
Yeah.
this just brought one up. Can we talk about like how people say breastfeeding will make you lose the baby weight? Like what's our opinions on this?
I feel like you know what's so funny? Because I just was thinking about this the other day, and I can't remember why. I may have come across a post or something, but I feel like it's setting moms up for failure, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. I feel like it's unkind because it's not. Yes, breastfeeding burns calories, but it's not always going to be the case where if you breastfeed, you're going to snap back to your baby
Yeah.
weight. Like, and I
Right.
feel like that's unfair
Yeah.
to tell somebody.
Yeah.
And it puts a pressure on a mom where if she is breastfeeding and doesn't go back to that baby
Right.
weight, she's like, what's wrong with me?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
And my cravings were honestly worse when I was breastfeeding than when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Like I would get like the worst cravings, and like I needed to have whatever it was
Yeah.
that I was craving. And I didn't even find them that bad during pregnancy.
Right,
But
yeah.
breastfeeding, I was like, I need this right now. Like
For me, I got really challenged by, this is kind of branching off, so it's not totally relevant, but like I had the challenge of Everest couldn't have eggs or milk, so I couldn't eat certain things. So then for breakfast, I'm like, well, what can you have if you can't have eggs and milk? Well, like bagels and toast. So I started eating a lot more carbs than I used to, which I was fine, because I was like, baby first. Like, I'm not thinking about losing weight. I'm thinking about staying, getting the right nutrition so that my milk supply is good and I can feed my son. But yeah, there was a moment there at that 3 to 4 month range where I'm like, I felt like I was going back to my baby body. And then for like pre-baby body, and then like for 4 weeks straight, I'm eating lots of carbs, lots and lots of carbs. Now I'm feeling like not my best self. And then you hear this, oh, breastfeeding makes you lose weight faster. And I actually know people that looked forward to their next pregnancy because they're like, oh, I can't wait to breastfeed because I'm going to lose a ton of weight.
And it does sometimes happen.
Sure.
Right? Like for some people you do.
It's just science. You're burning more calories.
Right. It's just science. But then for some people, it's like Alexx is saying, like, she was eating more because she was craving more. So then it just, like, on top of being in postpartum and on top of keeping this baby alive, you're now worried about you're getting supposed sleep. To be losing weight.
Right. It's just,
it's just an unfair statement to make, but I get
the reason.
And in the end, it is science. You're breastfeeding, you're burning calories. That's just what it is. But
yeah, it's an interesting one. I have so much more I want to say about that, but we'll move on. Okay, can you talk about some other challenges that might come up in that breastfeeding journey? We've talked about lip and tie, different latch issues, I guess we could talk about, or?
Well, you kind of touched on one, like sometimes baby will have aversions to what you're ingesting.
Right.
I had that issue with Jackson. I actually couldn't tolerate dairy all through my pregnancy. And then I thought I could introduce it after I had him. And then he would be very fussy every time I had anything dairy and then breastfed him.
I think it's more common than we realize.
I had to keep it.
Because it happened to my sister-in-law too with dairy.
Jeez.
I had to keep it cut out of my diet. I actually haven't had dairy since.
Well, she is just a little side note. Alexx is vegan.
Yeah,
right.
So she now just doesn't
kind of
have dairy.
Spurred that on.
Right.
So there can be issues with that, and fortunately, mine was pretty quickly cut out because I had already had that aversion like during my pregnancy. So I knew when I reintroduced it and then he was fussy that was the issue.
Right.
But for some people they have to do like an elimination diet to see what exactly.
That's what I had to do.
Did, yeah.
I had no clue what it was.
And that can take some time.
Yeah. I just like people were like, slowly cut things out. I go, nope, I'm slowly cutting I'm quickly cutting everything and I'll slowly introduce things. Yeah. So I like literally went down to almost carnivore diet. I did the opposite of you. I literally went, you're like cringing. I like was literally eating like steaks and bacon and sausage and like chicken breasts, and you're just like cringing at me, I'm sure. And then I was just like slowly then I would like introduce like try this, and then literally I would have something. And Everest would, and it wasn't just like he would spit up. He was like clearing a room with vomit.
Oh my gosh.
My room.
It was a lot. And he was in pain. I couldn't put him down. He was in pain. And then one time we had something and then I was like, why is Everest vomiting? I didn't eat anything. We looked back at the ingredients of something and milk was like a very low on the list side product.
But
like,
it was in there.
It was in there. So I'm like, come on. Like just when I thought, now we're good. Like he's fine. He won't vomit. He will sometimes spit up if I've had too much milk. But he's mostly fine and he can eat it himself, just not through me, which is also
so that's also a thing, right? Like, so
he can break it down, but I can't
break it down when it comes through your breast milk, but
he can himself
when he ingests it. I don't know all the science
That's
behind
crazy.
that. That is crazy. Yeah.
That is
because
crazy.
your boys eat dairy and they're fine.
Like Jackson
same
eats
thing.
dairy now and he's
good.
Fine.
Amazing.
But
yeah.
So what are some common misconceptions that you hear about breastfeeding?
Well, I thought of one earlier. A lot of people think that breastfeeding will ruin your body, and it's kind of something that we already
like your boobs,
your breasts,
but yeah, your
boobs kind of thing.
People don't realize that it's pregnancy
that does that.
So it doesn't really matter whether you breastfeed or not at that point. If you've already gone through pregnancy, whatever's gonna happen
because the
has
pregnancy is when
happened.
everything kind of loosens. You lose that elasticity. It's not breastfeeding.
I hate this for women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
we really do sacrifice a lot for our children.
I like have to
More than people know.
I have to tell Aaron about it, my husband, every single day. Like
Yeah.
every time something comes up and I go, the things I do.
Do you have any idea how many times a week I'm like, I birthed your big-headed children? Like my husband's like, I don't want, and I'm like, I birthed
like there's
your
nothing he
huge
can do.
children.
He can't win that battle ever. I
Ever.
birthed your
Like
child.
No.
like I was expecting to have small, tiny, adorable 6-pound babies.
Yeah.
I married this 6-foot man, and I give birth to 8'3" babies.
Yeah.
I get whatever I want now.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah. No, I did not know that actually.
Yeah.
That's
so,
interesting.
if that is what is holding
Deterring
someone
you,
back,
That's not it.
it's
You've already done the deed.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I will say breastfeeding does ruin my body. Maybe this is TMI for the internet about my body, but Everest is such a busy 8-month-old now, and while he eats, he's clawing at my boobs and holding them.
That's
and
the worst.
And so like if I'm feeding on this side, he's attacking that boob or like whatever. So I have scratch marks all over my chest.
Yeah.
But
No,
I guess I
remember
just have to trim
that.
his nails. So okay. One more I wanted to touch on before we got into the older baby challenges was like positioning. So for me early on, I realized I did not have a good enough rocking chair. I did
Yes.
not know how properly to use like the breastfeeding pillow, different supports like this. And then sleeping at night. I did a little bit of co-sleeping. This is not talked about enough. How to safely be propped up well. Co-sleeping, we've talked about it in the past. But in that realm of like positioning while breastfeeding, can you speak to any of that?
I don't think you need any specific products. I had a breastfeeding pillow with Jackson. I got rid of it because I just didn't find it useful, but I know a lot of people love their breastfeeding pillows. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of finding a spot that you're comfortable on. I unfortunately also did not have any rocking chairs, but I was able to figure out how to comfortably position myself on my couch and in bed. And those were the two main spots that I was breastfeeding. And then once your baby gets a little bit bigger and you're a little bit more confident in your breastfeeding abilities, I was able to breastfeed anywhere.
You're walking around.
Yeah.
So then
It's so true. Yeah.
that just spurred. Sorry, I gotta jump in here. A couple more things.
Yeah.
So a couple of things here. Length of breastfeeding doesn't matter per session. Breastfeeding in public. Can you talk to those two things?
So length, I think, is also going to depend on baby.
Is that something that should be timed or?
The only reason I would time it is not not that there's any magical length of time that you're supposed to be breastfeeding, but if you do find that baby is breastfeeding for a very long time, then I would maybe look to
Perhaps
see if there's an issue.
Right, that's a good point.
Hudson used to breastfeed for over half an hour every single time. So I felt like I was just nonstop breastfeeding him.
Yeah.
Once that lip and tongue tie was revised, he was like 15 minutes and go.
Wow.
Yeah, some babies are just very effective eaters as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
people get worried. Like maybe like
not
my
doing
daughters breastfed both of them like 7 minutes
Yeah.
each time, and they were done. And they were just really effective eaters. They were gaining weight, having those wet diapers. They were fine.
Yeah.
But
I think
people
that
get
there's-
worried. They're
yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, my baby's only breastfeeding for 10 minutes." And it's
Yeah.
like, if it's effective and
shouldn't matter.
they have that good latch
Yeah.
and they're getting that milk, doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes.
So right now there's this app Huckleberry. Not sure if
I
you've
haven't
used
heard
it.
of that.
Yeah.
So I used it too, and it's where you track everything for babies. So you literally start and pause and stop their naps,
Oh, yes,
their
yes,
feeding,
yes.
amount of diapers a day. So you can always reference, okay, yep, they had a poopy diaper yesterday or today.
Yeah.
And you could, but it kind of makes you a little bit crazy for a new mom.
I was
if
a
you don't
million
know-
years old and did this
writing. So you can start and stop a nursing session, and sometimes it makes a new mom rely or think that that is the measure of success. Like, oh, I fed for 27 minutes. That's great. And the next time I only fed 5 minutes. Oh no, what's wrong? So
Yeah.
I guess that's not a reliable measure.
So I actually you're reminding me, I had a client who did this, and she was like telling me all about her stop and start, and she had this whole notebook and she had the app, and I couldn't get her out of this mindset. It was very difficult for me to get her out of this mindset that her baby, every time I talked to her, she's like, well, he ate for this amount of time. Well, he ate for this. And I'm like, we need to get out of this mindset that
Yeah,
this is
the
what
time.
this is what is your success in
Right.
breastfeeding is determined on, because it's not
Right.
the amount of time that he
Yeah.
breastfeeds. That's not what your success
But
that
when
doesn't
you're
mean
in
success.
that deep hole of new
Yes,
motherhood,
it's difficult.
It's hard to like convince. Like you're
Well,
worried
you
is
grasp
getting enough.
onto anything that is
You can
showing
track.
you that you
Yeah.
can see anything that's
any metric of success.
right.
Yeah. See, I used it with my third child, so it was very much like I can't remember anything. So if I do have an issue and someone asks me like, "Oh, like what happened? Like how long did they nurse for? How often did they nurse?" I would not be able to.
That's a good point. It was
like recall that information. I was like, oh, let me just look in the app.
Yeah.
And I can tell you exactly
it is really cool.
what happened yesterday.
Sometimes I even forget like what those early days of new momhood looks like. And I'll be able to look back and be like, because I don't use it anymore. But the other day, Everest opened up my phone and it was like, Everest hasn't slept in 85 days. Okay, chill. But yeah, it is cool to be able to like reference back.
Oh yeah, especially like in those postpartum
Totally,
days
so
because
tired.
you don't remember.
Yeah.
I think I blacked out all of my first few years of motherhood. Like I don't remember anything. So yes, I do understand why it can be beneficial, but you just have to be careful not to let that be the make or break for you.
Yeah. And then the other piece was breastfeeding in public.
Yeah. So going back with my first, I was 20 years old. I also thought it was weird. Like the idea of breastfeeding, like when I was pregnant, my mom asked me, she was the one who said like, are you going to breastfeed? Because she said, I will not tell you how to mother your children, but if I can ask you to do one thing, breastfeed your kids. And so I was like, well, I'll do my research. I love researching. I love reading about stuff.
You guys match up there.
Read about all the benefits of breastfeeding, and I was sold. I was like, okay, perfect. Plus, it's free, like I said. And
you were 20.
I was 20. I was not about to start buying formula. I did not realize how expensive it was. I was like, wait, there's actually not really a choice here. It's crazy. I am breastfeeding.
Or he's not eating.
So, but I also, like, I needed to get out and do stuff. I was stuck in the house for probably the first 2 to 3 months after having him.
That'll drive you mad.
And it was wintertime. I was
those long...
The postpartum depression on top of like seasonal depression. I was like, I need to get out of the house. And I was breastfeeding on demand. So I quickly, I tried. I fought with those breastfeeding covers. I could not do it. Or more so, Jackson could not do it. He was ripping that thing off. He's like, why are you trying to cover my head right now? Like, I am trying to breathe.
They're uncomfortable.
They
it was awful.
And they're hot.
Hot. Actually, the one you got me is amazing.
It is lightweight. Yeah, the one that is multi-use.
And so I just started feeding him, and I was very uncomfortable at first. Like I felt very exposed, even though I was not. I was also a little bit better at that point because he was a little bit older with latching him on. So I was able to latch him on quickly. Quicker, I think if I had tried to go out like in those first like few weeks where we were still learning and, you know, they like pop off randomly, that would have been a lot more uncomfortable. And I remember actually being at the mall with my my mom and my nanny, and my nanny was like, oh, like you don't want like a blanket or something? And I was like, no. He'll literally like, that is when I will become exposed because he will come off and he'll be ripping that blanket off and it'll just be, I was like, nope, I'm just going to feed him like this. I'm not doing anything wrong. My baby needs to eat. So I'm feeding my baby. Yeah. And then the confidence kind of just like built from there. Like I didn't even second guess it when I had Hudson. I was like, I'm feeding my baby. Like if someone has something to say, they can come say it to me.
I think it very much is like a personal preference / confidence thing. Like, you know, I have the same memory of the mall. I was breastfeeding in a mall with Emerson, and I remember me and my mom were sitting at a table, and an older man, I had the one that I gave you, and it's like, it kind of goes over your head, you know, those ones. And Emmy was quite new, and I remember him kind of just like looking at me like, you're going to sit here and breast. We were sitting outside of a Cinnabon, and you know how they always have tables out there? My mom's like, why don't we just sit here? You can feed her. So I sat there, and I remember him kind of looking at me like, you're going to feed your baby right here. And I was covered. And after that day, I was just like, this sucks, took it off. And I built my confidence, and I breastfed without anything in public all the time. People act like you're just like throwing your shirt up and having a wet
Right.
t-shirt
I don't want you to
contest.
see
Yeah.
me either.
Right. This is not for your benefit.
No.
I'm feeding my baby.
And it'll be
it
done
is
quick.
hot,
Just
and
move
it
on
is
with your life.
suffocating. Yeah, you don't need to be looking at me.
No, please don't actually.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's such a funny thing because like, so I never use the cover very much. Now I do actually more with, you'd think it'd be opposite. I use it more with time because Everest will like nap under there. He'll like feed and
Like
fall
as a dark
asleep at dark
area,
area.
yeah.
Or like, because he's so distracted right now at 8 months, he's like hears something and then wants to go look at it. And so he will, like you said, I'm more
And take your boob with
exposed.
him.
Well, sometimes he'll just be like, what? And then I'm just
Yes.
sitting there bare chested. So like it ranges now, but like, yeah, it's such a uncomfortable thing. I'm very comfortable. I have zero shame, but it still finds its way of being this like uncomfortable thing where you're in the room, I'm comfortable, but the people around you, like literally, my dad is very sweet. One time he came over and I was feeding him. Everest was brand new, maybe a couple weeks old. My dad's coming in the room. He looked at me, he goes, hello, and then like shuffled through the room with his back to me and like sat very close to me, but just turned around for the entire visit. And I had been done feeding and I just didn't tell him. And eventually he's like, are you good back there? I go, oh yeah, I've been done feeding. Like I finished. But like, you're just sitting like a weirdo. I'm going to let you sit like a weirdo. Like
And I do
you are
think-
making it more uncomfortable.
Right.
Like just chill.
And
Like,
I do think it is a generational thing, I
Totally.
think, and hope that it's becoming more common that women are confident to
Yeah.
just breastfeed.
Just
Well, I
breastfeed,
think that's where that like initial comment came from, is just like that wasn't really the norm. Like anybody who did breastfeed did it very like
Private.
covered up, or they went to a
Oh
private
gosh,
room.
we've read stories about women breastfeeding in bathrooms and like,
Yeah.
that is just
It's-
not right.
And
No.
when I was like, no, I'm sitting here,
Yeah.
like my baby's hungry, so I'm
Yeah.
going to feed him here. Like I'm not going to a bathroom. I'm not covering him up with a blanket. I'm just going to feed him.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, okay. And like, obviously now, like, and then it's like times are changing. And I actually never had like a bad experience with like a stranger coming
No.
up to me in public while I was breastfeeding. I can't remember if it was Jackson or Carter that I was breastfeeding. I was walking through a grocery store and they were over a year old. And a lady came up to me and I was like, oh no, here it is. Like, this is the moment that I've been dreading. And she came up to me and she's like, I just wanted to say, it's so nice to see someone feeding their baby in public and like
that's sweet.
doing it so openly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
So that was really nice.
Yeah.
That like I was expecting the worst, but
love
I was
to
like,
see
I'm
that.
prepared because I've been doing this for over a year. I've
Amazing.
been waiting
Yeah.
for this. But
Throwing-
no, it
I
was-
love
it was
women,
really nice.
women encouraging women.
Just branching off of that, we were just on a trip in Alaska and I have like the biggest FOMO in the world. And we were out doing like a whale watching tour and Everest needed to eat. And everyone's like, take him inside. And it's like starting to rain because there's like this deck where you can view the whales outside or you can be inside. And I'm like, I paid to be here like everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm not going inside. We're like rocking on the waves.
Yeah.
It's starting to rain. I've got my breastfeeding cover over. Now my husband's putting like my rain jacket over. Everest is under me. Everest's heavy. He's like 25-pound baby. So I'm like rocking him and now he's asleep and I'm feeding him out there. And we have pictures of me being like, whoa, whale. And Everest is like feeding
I
under this.
love that. I love that you have
It's
pictures
amazing.
like that because women are superheroes.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not going to miss out because I have to feed my baby. And
But
like, he's
also,
coming with me.
Can we just go back to Everest is 25 pounds?
He's a massive baby.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Well,
Like
I love that.
Hudson is like 29 pounds.
And how old
He's
is
going to be
he?
3.
Yeah, Everest
in
is 8
August.
months.
He's literally like almost 3 years exactly older than
Amazing.
because he's also an
August
August.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna have to. We think we're gonna have
This
to
is a jam-packed
I know
episode.
we're gonna do a part 2 where we talk a little bit about like older baby breastfeeding stuff because we're running out of time here.
Yeah, we just have so much to say.
have
Like,
so much
not
to
only
talk
are you
about
guys
with
trained
breastfeeding.
professionals, we're just like are all very passionate about this.
very passionate, yeah, and we all love it, right? So we have so much to say, but to wind down this episode, breastfeeding starter pack. You had to give a new mom. This is what you should have. This will help you.
Ooh, good
What's
one.
in it?
start off with the water bottle.
Yes. An aula. What is
No,
it?
Owala. Whatever your preferred water bottle is, but a nice large one that you can keep filled with water because that thirst will
With
hit.
electrolytes.
Electrolytes are good, yeah. Some kind of like hair tie or like claw clip, just to throw your hair back because like we talked about getting touched out, being overstimulated, you're gonna want to get your hair out of your face, and once those little hands start reaching, they like to pull your hair. I like to and we talked about snacks as well, so like a nice like easy snack in case you get hungry. And like I liked having like my like lip balm or something close
Just right there,
by,
same.
too.
Dehydration hits.
Yeah, absolutely. I kept one at all of my breastfeeding stations.
And then something to keep you entertained because you could be there a while.
That's a really good point.
I did a lot of scrolling on my
Doom
phone.
scrolling,
I like to read on my Kindle.
So this is, I was just about to go there. This is, I had to post a story at one point, be like, what's everyone doing while breastfeeding? And I got, they're like, they're not annoying messages, but they're the people that are like, just stare at your beautiful baby. It's only going to be so long. I go, girl, I am breastfeeding all day. I love to stare at him, but I'm like,
maybe one of the sessions.
It's very dark room. I'm falling asleep. Like, so I got that.
A Kindle instead of, I love a good book. But when you're breastfeeding, a Kindle is way more convenient.
And I downloaded it on my phone because I'm just like,
or on your phone.
I'm gonna have my phone with me. Yeah.
Like I went all out because I got like the little stand with the little clicker and everything. I'm obsessed with it.
And then apparently, I don't know if this is everywhere, but here in Ontario, you can download this app. I haven't done it yet, but someone had wrote in to tell me, and you can get if you get a library card, you can associate with this app.
Oh, yes, I have it.
And you can rent books, or what is it called, renting books? Through the app and read them on your Kindle for free.
Can I tell you that the most popular books that you want are never available? You're like 80.
It's a freaking app. There should be a million of them.
I think something to do with the copyright laws. They can only actually rent out so many virtual copies.
I've ever heard. It's virtual. Just make another copy.
This is exactly what I said, but it's something to do with the laws. They can only rent out so many virtual copies.
Goodness,
so I'm like, I'm in line for a lot of books I wanted to read. I end up just buying them. But however, you can go through it, and there is a bunch that are available.
Yeah, sometimes you can go through, and there'll be like ones that are like popular, but they're instantly available because you can only keep them for like a week.
Yeah, they're always limited. Yeah.
So sometimes you can get like the popular ones.
But that's a good point. Like, do something to simulate your mind, because you're right. I spent a lot of time doom scrolling too, and you're like, get me off of this. Let's do something that actually passes the time. I read that entire, what is that series called again? ACOTAR series, like what is that? What does it stand for? A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read the whole thing. Yeah. And now I'm on the Fourth Wing series anyway. So now I play. I play cards. I play cards on my phone. So
I'm playing cards on my phone.
That's funny.
Yeah. I honestly can't really think of anything else.
Yeah,
maybe just like clothes that you're also comfortable in. I
like
got
loose
like
fitting.
Yeah, like I got so much like nursing specific clothes.
Did you?
And it just never felt like my style, so I
Right.
wasn't really comfortable wearing it. So I just found clothes that I was able to easily breastfeed in. So I think just like finding stuff like that
you're comfy and easily accessible.
Like,
yeah, totally. Those are good. That's great.
Okay, so we like to play a little game with our guests and with each other. At the end of the podcast, it's just quick little fun would you rather questions, and I've made these ones breastfeeding specific. So we have 2 of them, so we can all answer, but we'll start with you. Okay, so would you rather breastfeeding edition? Would you rather only be able to breastfeed lying down or only be able to breastfeed standing up?
lying down. I'm not standing.
Not a hesitation.
Okay, no.
Yes.
I might say standing up. I got too much to do in a day. I got too much to do. Mama on the move.
Okay, but like that 3 a.m. breastfeeding session,
I don't do it.
Standing.
I've never really
But
had
what
to
if
do
you
it.
had to?
Okay.
And you
with
could
the
only
baby I
breastfeed
have
standing
now, standing up for
Okay.
sure. If I had a baby who had trouble sleeping through the night or was up through the night, you're exhausted. You need to be able to sit down.
But
Absolutely.
imagine this is a hard one for me because I'm trying to think of both sides here.
I don't like to feed lying
I
down.
might say
I hate
standing
it.
up too, because imagine you're out and your baby is hungry
Now
and
you
you
just
have
have
to
to
lay
lay
down
down.
to breastfeed.
Yeah,
Well, then I might just stay home.
I'm never going out. But
I stay home always.
lying down is, I don't like it. Lately, Everest is in a bad habit after traveling with the time change. He's been coming into my bed at like 6 a.m. and then he basically feeds for like 45 minutes straight in bed. And Aaron's like, why don't you just fall back asleep? And I'm like, I'm not super comfortable. Like I've never loved the side lying position. When he was brand new, I was exhausted. Sure, I could fall asleep. I mean, safely.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I'm up. Like I can't, it's not comfy for me.
Yeah.
So stand up.
I think I'm going to say stand up too.
Yeah.
And
You're so funny.
solid lie.
I'm lying down.
Yeah.
I breastfed way too much.
Without
Standing
hesitation,
up for
lying down. Yes.
Yeah, I also only have one child, so and I wasn't tandem feeding.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, last question. Would you rather always forget a burp cloth and you get spit up on without anything to clean up, or always forget breast pads and leak through your shirt all the time?
Okay, but I leaked and my kids rarely spat up. So I think I'm going to go with nursing pads.
Nursing pads. So you'd rather
never
forget a burp cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So Everest had that terrible spit up thing we went through. So I need the burp club. I never leaked. I never had supply issues. I never was over or under. I feel like I was just right.
Yeah.
So I've never, other
you're
than
gonna
that first
say-
2 weeks, I needed the bamboo ones. Since then, I've never
Yeah.
used them. Well, maybe more than 2 weeks. But yeah,
So you're going to say
burp
rather
club.
forget birth
I
cloth.
need the birth club.
You rather forget nursing pads.
I'd rather forget the nursing.
Okay. I'm going to say I'd rather forget nursing pads only because I learned after forgetting them myself so many times that if I just hold pressure,
Yeah.
Right.
I could stop my letdown.
Yeah.
However, we should talk about this next time, but you can't feel your letdown.
No.
I always knew when my letdown
Yeah.
was coming, so if I put pressure, I wouldn't leak.
Since talking about this, there have been times I have felt it, but it's
Okay.
really inconsistent and very rare.
Okay, so mine was very strong every single time.
Oh,
so
no.
I knew if I was going to leak. So if I forgot a burp cloth, there'd be puke everywhere. If I forgot my nursing pads, I knew how to deal with that.
Right.
So I'm going to say that one. But you also felt your letdown. So
Yeah.
you knew when you were leaking. Yeah. So we
But-
should talk about that one time.
Yeah, I want to talk about the supply thing.
I
one
leaked
time.
so much that it wouldn't even
You
matter.
could, yeah,
It
you
would-
had, you
I
said
would
you
still-
were
yeah.
oversupplier. So
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic because you didn't pump, and in my mind, I've decided that's what causes supply issues. Interesting.
Yeah.
we will get
Stay
back to you.
tuned.
Stay tuned for part 2. We will have Alex on again.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
This was
fun.
great. All right,
right.
everybody. See you next time.
Bye.